I might be a naturally boring person because I never went on many family trips or did much of any kind of vacationing with family throughout my childhood. So I'm thinking maybe that contributed to me becoming comfortable with just being a naturally boring and dull person. I think that has to have some influence on my behaviors today. Um, I don't really see anything wrong with it. It's kind of like what a lot of people uh, say when it just seems natural, when it seems like everybody else is not really doing anything of any great value. You don't really see your lack of activity as being that big of a deal. Okay. For example, in like say Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, or he talked about his life. He said that everybody had to go to the well, and there was no indoor plumbing and all that in Austria. He didn't consider himself poor because that's how everybody else lived. Um, and it may be that I just didn't see my classmates going on vacation, and I just assumed they didn't go anywhere either. So some talked about it, and I felt a bit of jealousy when I heard stories about people going to like Hawaii and all this stuff. But I kind of avoided those conversations anyway. I just maybe hanging out with the poor people would reduce those kind of stories, so I didn't have to hear about people going on vacations to Disneyland or whatever. I didn't. It was sometimes it's kind of nice to hear stories about that. You live vicariously through other people's lives. Um, that was nice. But it also, what was kind of frustrating too is I didn't have much access to many books. I found myself paging through the same like Sports Illustrated over and over again, just looking at the same pictures and looking at the same information over and over again. This is in the 80s. And it seems like there was probably a lot of books, but just for some reason I never really got my hands on many. I never really got into the book reading until later in life, until my early 20s. So that contributed to a lot of my dullness. I took on the attitude like, well, once the book is done, what's next? I don't really have anything else to read. So I didn't want to get too involved in any story, because once it was done, I would have wanted to move on to the next story, and that wasn't really happening. I wasn't like I don't recall having a library card as a kid. I never went to the library as a kid, so uh, I didn't really get too familiar with the stories. Or when I did go, I would just read the books there every so often. Um, but yeah, I never really. I mean, I've been to some ice cave. I went to Al Capone's hideout in Wisconsin. That the ice cave was like showed off stalagmites and stalactites or something. It's got really dark. Those are two big ones, and then there's a science museum in the Twin Cities, which is interesting. A lot of kids talked about having gone there the second and third times. I thought it was pretty neat. I went on all the school bus trips. Um, I can't. And I also I won this going to a camp or something for a week. For some reason, the Deer Club sponsored it, the Elks Club or something, Moose Club. Um, But yeah, I never really went on any vacations. That might have contributed to the dullness of today.